Hey, welcome back to the Here's the Deal channel. Let me check the health of the stream here. See if my mic's working. Testing 1 2 3. Let me see if you guys can hear me. Give me a 5x5 if you can hear me. Okay. Hey, looks good on my end. Hey, I wanted to deal with this because none of us is greater than all of us, and each one of us can learn from everybody else, whether you think you can or not. There's some grain of knowledge or truth that you can learn from somebody somewhere out there. And, I learn a lot when I read the comment section. Well, there was a string of comments, a thread of comments under this video that I did entitled Cops Regret Pulling This Man Over. This is about Bravo Mike and him being pulled over in Dothan. And this is the post that I wanted to kind of focus on. He says, K-Mac says, this was clearly retaliation, but if you've never been racially profiled, don't dismiss it. And a couple people were saying that I was being dismissive of possible racial profiling. And I want to go over some of the clips, but I do want to read some of these posts as well. I don't want to dismiss racial profiling. I'm sure that it happens. When I talk about racial profiling, I talk about it in the context of it's not provable. How can you actually prove that that white officer who pulled over that black guy did so because he was racially profiled? Could he have been racially profiled? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. He could have been racially profiled. But how do you prove it? You can prove that the cop's being a tyrant. Well, how can you prove that? Because he swore to protect, defend, and uphold the Constitution of the United States. And he's right here at your window, at your car during this traffic stop, trying to remove your rights. Where have you been? Where are you going? Getting all, antsy and pissy because you're not answering his questions. Hey, you need to respect my authority. When a cop is trying to trample your rights, but you don't necessarily know if he's trampling your rights because you've been racially profiled. That's usually the springboard from where I come from. Now, I'm saying this as a white dude that lives in Oklahoma. If you're a black dude, experiencing racial profiling in your area, that's something that you experience that I don't experience. And we all have to be willing to admit that. There are things that you're going to experience because of the color of your skin, whereas I wouldn't experience it. Have I experienced what I believe to be racial profiling and, basically dismissing you because of the color of your skin? Yes, I have. I've talked about it before on, other broadcasts, but it basically was, I landed in Philadelphia at 12:30, 1 o'clock at night on a red-eye flight. And when I landed in Philly, I was the only white guy in the entire airport, man. And I was treated pretty poorly. And I'm not a sensitive kind of guy either. It's just like, wow, I'm not going out of my way to try to notice something. This is in my face. You better leave our neighborhood kind of stuff. But so I've experienced it, but I haven't experienced it on a daily basis like some of you, my brothers, have who are darker skin. And it sucks that there are people out there who believe that they're superior to somebody else because of the color of their skin. Oh, look, I've got this color of skin, therefore I'm superior to you. That's ridiculous. You didn't have anything to do with your skin color or where you were born, what kind of, climate you were born in. So this person says, that bothers me that he does that. Talking about me, it bothers me that he does that stuff, which is being dismissive of possible racial profiling. And he does it often. I'm white and I've experienced it because of people I hang with. Let me just read another one that was pertinent. Let's see. Appreciate you guys being here, by the way. Let me ask you in the chat room, regardless of the color of your skin, do you feel like you have been racially profiled? Put a 1 in the room. And if you want to type your experience, I'll leave the chat's basically open. So when this video gets done rendering, anybody can see what you've said. Let's see here. This is my main beef with this channel too. Definitely cringe every time he just disregards race as a factor. So apparently, in the minds of some, I disregard race as a factor of people being pulled over. I don't think I've ever disregarded it. Maybe I have been dismissive of it because I see totalitarianism of a more pressing, vital thing that we need to take down than racism. And I also see that fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media tries to play the racism thing up so that we can continue to be divided. But maybe in that propaganda, people have become so propagandized that they're propagandized into being racist, where other, in a regular course of life where they weren't subject to fake stream media, they wouldn't have that thought. But I just think that there's this distract, deceive, divide, dehumanize, demoralize, and conquer thing that's constantly going on with fake stream media. So let me play a couple of the parts that I think people had a problem with, and you let me know. Because like I said, none of us is greater than all of us, and I don't ever want to dismiss a person's lived experience when they're experiencing being profiled and being pulled over because of the color of their skin. I don't ever want to dismiss that. So let me just play two snippets of where I think people had a problem with what I said.
People have a tendency to think I make this stuff up against these people, but I don't make this stuff up. These people ride around and harass and attempt to intimidate. Now, I've already placed copies of everything on Facebook and other forms of social media just to let people know this is what we can expect from these people on a daily basis. It's just not Kevin Suffolk they're harassing. It's any black male. This is what happens in Dothan on a daily basis.
See, this is where I take issue. It's not just black males. Authoritarians don't see color. They just want to dominate and control anybody who's not in their thin blue line cult. And I still believe that is true. Now, if in saying that, it's perceived that I'm dismissive of racial profiling, I truly apologize because, I'm not, as far as I know, I don't get racially profiled. I could be getting racially profiled, but to stick with the main tenor of this, I don't see how a person can actually prove, unless the people actually said, we're pulling you over because you're black or whatever. I don't see how you can prove that you're being racially profiled. But then I can be blind by certain things. Is there a way to prove that you've been racially profiled beyond, hey, I feel like I am? Because if there is, I want to know. I want to know how you can prove you've been racially profiled. That's one of the questions. That's the main question I want to ask in this live stream is, how can you determine objectively and prove to anybody who's looking on that you were pulled over because of the color of your skin? And the thing that I think about is, yeah, it was a white cop who ended the life of Philando Castile. Okay. It was a white Amber Geiger who ended the life of Botham Jean when she went into the wrong apartment. She actually walked into this guy's apartment saying that she thought it was her apartment and ending his life while he's sitting on his couch watching Netflix eating ice cream, which is ridiculous. So I can see how people would say that that's a racial thing. But then how do you explain the 5 black cops who did what they did to Tyree Nichols in Memphis, Tennessee? How do you explain the multiple videos that we have of white cops doing the same things to a Daniel Shaver or a James Boyd who's homeless in Arizona, or to Johnny Wheatcroft, tasing him how many times in the where in front of his kids? Ridiculous stuff. So when I see white cops doing the same thing to Hispanic, white, black, and Asian people that they do to everybody else, I tend to think, hey, this is tripping on your own power. This is an authoritarian psychopath who's trying to control and dominate somebody who's not in the thin blue line gang. So if you can, I'll look back at the chats here in a second, but if you can come up with a way to determine whether you've been racially profiled or not, let me know. And the second question is, let's be honest. Don't we all kind of do some profiling of our own? Like if you're in let's say I make my way eastward toward, to visit my mom in Tennessee, and I've got to go through Memphis and I'm low on gas and I got to stop at a Memphis gas station. Memphis is predominantly, what color of skin. So don't you, and no matter what color of the person's skin is, don't you tend to, before you get out of your car, don't you tend to assess the situation, look what's going on in your zone of influence, and do a little bit of mental profiling of your own and determine, hey, it doesn't look very safe to get out at this gas station. Maybe I should go to another gas station. Is it necessarily wrong to profile? It could be if you're coming at it from a wrong perspective, but is it necessarily wrong to do profiling for your own safety and for the safety of your family? Let me know what you think about that. And let's go to this minute mark 15. And this is the second clip that I think people had a problem with me dismissing possible racial profiling.
Okay, well, I doubt he had time to type my name in and get a response back that fast. But if he did, it's still a form of racial profiling because he spotted me knowing this is the truck that I drive and seen Kevin South on the side he wanted to stop
It's
him.
not racial profiling.
Okay, well, what is it then? Is it, you call it?
Could the cop be lying? It's not racial profile. Could the cop be lying? We know when a cop's lips are moving, the possibility that they're lying goes through the roof. So he could be racially profiling. I don't know how you can prove that. We know he's trying to take this guy right here, this badged law enforcer, this clown is trying to infringe on this man's right to travel. We do know that. We can prove that.
Good
Traffic
policing?
stop.
It's a traffic stop.
Yes, sir.
It ain't no random traffic stop because he know who I am, so it's not random.
But it's not racial.
Okay, I call it racial because I've called him out several
You're
times,
free to
and you
call.
don't ride behind white men and stop them, so I call it racial because you don't do this anywhere else.
Do you think that we never stop white people, sir?
I see you stop white people, but you don't ride behind them 3 blocks and see who they are and decide to want to stop them.
That's just not true. Ask Chuck Bronson if they follow him often and he gets it all on recording. Chuck Bronson, Chuck's the same color as I am. So what Bravo Mike said here is just not true. I mean, I can't really speak for Dothan cops, but if you take cops in general, they are tripping and are drunk on their own power and authority. Power corrupts and absolute power does corrupt, absolutely. And psychopaths are actually drawn to these kinds of professions, and they really could care less. Maybe some of them are, part of the Klan or whatever. I don't know. Maybe they are racist, but for the most part, they could care less what color your skin is. They just want to dominate and control you. Period.
I'm around this town filming every day, all day, and you know that, and everybody else knows that. So if don't nobody else know, I know. I'm on the scene on every scene. Every time I see the lights come
You're
on.
not on the scene on every scene.
This comes from the Bravo Mike channel. And in my opinion, he's going way out on a limb on this. Now, the cops may be targeting him, but proving they're trying to target him based on the color of his skin, unless you got evidence, why even go there? Now, if they're targeting you because they don't like being exposed and called out for their corrupt activity, that's retaliation because of a direct action, and it's something easier to prove if you have it recorded.
Well, everyone I can get to, and especially
The Boone family, thanks for that super chat. He says, as a black man, I think you just make the point that it's bigger than race. It's more of them versus us mentality. And if you don't obey and give up your rights, they treat you like a criminal. You're right. Thank you, Boone family. I appreciate that. And at the same time, there's an FBI crime statistic that says that 13% of the population is black and 13% of that population commits 50 to 55% or 60% of the crime. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I think that the mentality of some of these law enforcers are based on that, could be based on that FBI crime statistic. And these cops are also people too, and they have their own experiences, just like white, black, Asian, and Hispanic people have their own experiences. But I think for the most part, the Boone family, what he just said is it is bigger than race. Authoritarianism is bigger than race. You can be an authoritarian and not be a racist, but you're still an authoritarian, which means you still want to exercise power and control over somebody who doesn't want power and control exercised over them. That's not saying that these authoritarians are not racist. They could be, but the overarching thing is at the bottom, when you boil it all down, your rights are being jeopardized. Your rights are being compromised. Your rights are being sacrificed. And they're doing it on the altar of law and order. So I appreciate that, Boone. I appreciate that. It's actually, this man is allowed to feel however he feels about color. If he feels that's what determines decisions about him. Yeah, I'm not taking away his feelings. I'm just saying, when you say something, how can you prove it beyond I think or I feel? My black friends in Mississippi would tell me the stupidest reasons they've got pulled over, like the light on the license plate being too bright. Yeah. And again, guys, it happens to white people and black people. Maybe in certain areas it happens more to black people. Maybe in certain areas it happens more to white people. And I don't even think we're going to get to the bottom of this. I just do want to make sure that I myself am not minimizing or dismissing the reality of racism being part of the equation, possibly being part of the equation. If you don't, Viking Beard says, if you don't have a front and rear facing dash cam, get one now. It's going to show and protect you from a lot of situations. Record. I could not agree more. One of the best things that you can do for yourself is constantly be recording. Have a 360. You cannot have enough cameras. Have a 360 camera, have body cameras rolling, have hidden cameras and audio equipment rolling, you know. I'm not trying to get anybody to be paranoid, but truly, during a traffic stop, you cannot have enough cameras. So getting back to this, I do want to make sure, I'm not going to make this a long video. We've already been talking for 16 minutes, but I don't want to minimize or dismiss the fact that there is a racist element, or could be a racist element in a lot of these police departments. But I got to tell you, when I see a Daniel Shaver begging for his life, when he's just trying to obey the rapid fire commands of Mesa, Arizona henchman and Philip Brailsford, who ended his life, and by the way, got acquitted for it in broad daylight on camera. Daniel Shaver had absolutely done no wrong, committed no crime. And then this guy gets acquitted. When I see that kind of stuff, when I see a James Boyd who's homeless, minding his own business, getting attacked by, I can't remember what, that was in Arizona too. That wasn't Mesa. That was, I can't remember. When I see a Kelly Thomas, and I'm just picking out these are just, these are white guys. When I see that kind of stuff, and then I also see it happen to my black brothers and sisters, I'm like, you know what? This transcends racism. We're talking about a mental disorder of authoritarianism that gets people to think that they have the right. This cop right here believes he has the right. Let me get myself out of the way. This cop and his henchmen, let's just picture all of them here. They all believe that they have the right. There they are right there at their police vehicles. They have the right to exercise authority over you. They have the right to take away your rights. And they believe that you have the obligation to obey their every command. And if you don't, they get mad at you. And they say, well, I guess that's going to be 2 tickets I'm going to write for you since you have a bad attitude. Oh, you're writing me a ticket because you think I have a bad attitude? There's some mental instability going on in that cranial structure. You're either one of them or you're not, says Guernsey. And if you're not, you're either with them or you're not. And if you're not, you're going to be a persistent target. I saw one person said they were constantly getting pulled over when they have long hair. I had long hair up to like a couple weeks ago, but I don't really get pulled over though. Brian, no matter what you say wrong or right, there's going to be somebody out there that disagrees with you. Live with it. Well, Michael Justice, it's not about that. I can get over that kind of stuff, but when I internalize some of these comments, I'm like, hey, okay, I could be wrong about this. I don't have all knowledge. I'm not perfect in everything that I say. There can be flaws and things in my videos that I need to correct. And that we all that's the course of life. The reproofs of instruction are the way of life. A fool finds no pleasure in understanding, but delights in airing his own opinion. I don't want to just air my own opinion without correction. That's ridiculous. That's not what I'm about. I don't think that's what any of us should be about. They're drawn to what they don't have outside of the clown costume, assumed authority, respect, bare minimum. The Boone family says the worst cops to encounter as a black man is a black officer because they go the extra mile to show that they're not your friend and show their cop buddies that they're down. Interesting. That's interesting. Are you saying that, Boone, from like personal experience? Just some dude says, I'm a small car dealer with Hispanic employees. I can speed with no license plate and never, ever get pulled over. My guys can't drive 2 blocks without being pulled over. Interesting. That's an interesting perspective. Brian, none of us are perfect. Perfection is a direction, not a goal, says Adapted. Viking says there's a guy and his wife, a live streamer auditor, now in a fight with Meade County, Kentucky that shows it's not just race, it's a power dynamic. And Boone family says, yes, he has experienced that with black officers being more aggressive than white officers to, somehow prove that they're, hey, I'm worth my salt on this department. Here, let me show you guys how I treat this black. It's crazy, man. That to me is pretty, that's a telltale sign of somebody who's got a real serious mental illness. Channel 3 says, am I the only mofo who thinks that it's sketch AF that high impact flicks is done on all networks? What happened to Israel, Brian? What do you mean is done on all networks? I don't understand what you're talking about. People who, I think he said something about, why'd you stop talking about WEF, which is the World Economic Forum? I haven't. That's not what this channel's about. This channel's about police accountability and public servant accountability. The people who put their hand on the Bible and said, I'm going to protect and defend your rights. And then when they get into office, they do the exact opposite. I'm going to protect your rights from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And then what do? They turn around and they become the very domestic enemies they swore to protect you from. So this, I speak about the WEF. If you want to know what I think about the WEF, go to my Twitter page at highimpactflix.com. Go to my YouTube channel or my Facebook page. Go to Instagram. I have more outlets than this. This is compartmentalized. I kind of compartmentalize what this channel's about. Yeah, Republic Now says your YouTube channel, High Impact Flicks, has disappeared from YouTube. Yeah, they terminated that back in April along with Grease Monkey videos, High Impact Vlogs, High Impact... They took it all down. Was I flying over the target? You be the judge of that. Was a huge fan of HIF. How you going to stop reporting on the most important stuff? I know that this channel is focusing on this. But see, that's the thing. It's an assumption, and you know what happens when you assume. You make an ass out of you and me, huh? It's an assumption saying that I've stopped talking about that. Of course, I know that's important. Of course, I know the big pharma industrial complex and military industrial complex and the U.S., what the U.S. government is doing abroad and what's happening in the Middle East. All that stuff is super important. Totally agree. But I haven't stopped talking about it. I just don't talk about it on this particular platform. Oh, by the way, I have a Rumble channel as well. And you can, at least for the time being, you can talk about those things. Sun Power says, I am firsthand knowledge based on what a police character should appear as, son of an officer raised in OKC. Jekyll Islanders hide all around us. Yeah, exactly. Says Jersey Bob said that. Okay, guys, that's pretty much it. Let me just close with this. I apologize if I have in any way dismissed or minimized the reality of racial tensions and racial profiling. Definitely not my intention, but I still believe, as Boone pointed out, that the bigger picture of having your rights violated and your life threatened is totalitarianism, not so much racism. Does that mean you're not going to get your life threatened under the regime of racism? No, not at all. But I just think that it may be like a subset. You can be an authoritarian, or can you be? I don't know. Can you be an authoritarian and not be a racist as well? I don't know. I think you can. It's like, I think they can be colorblind. It's like, I don't care what color your skin is. I just want to dominate and control you. And I don't think you can be a racist without being authoritarian, because I think that a form of authoritarianism is racism. Boone Family says, I just want to say, keep up the good work. You popped up randomly, and I've been stuck ever since. You popped up randomly, and I've been stuck ever since. Have a blessed day. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. By the way, thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for the people who support on Patreon and Subscribestar. Thanks for everybody who buys the shirts. It really helps, because that's how I support my family, so that I can continue to do what I'm doing right here. Also, people were asking me about the Jackson, Mississippi Civil Rights Center meetup. I haven't decided on a date yet. When I do, I'll let you know, and I'll make sure I let you know in advance. I want to do it. My goal is to do it before Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving this year lands on the 23rd. If I can't swing a date before Thanksgiving, it's going to have to be after Thanksgiving, which I hate having to do that, because as we, pass fall and go into winter, it's going to get colder and colder, and standing outside on a cold day, especially if it's like 10 degrees outside, is no fun at all unless you have the proper equipment. But my goal is to go to Jackson, Mississippi, because of what happened to Jeff Gray from Honor Your Oath Civil Rights Investigations, in that his civil rights were violated on the $90 million steps of the Civil Rights Museum by two non-white officers. You could make that stuff up, but how would you have ever thought to be that ridiculous about it? So my goal is to go up there, and if you guys want to join me, if I'm the only one up there carrying a sign saying, God bless the homeless vets, and whatever the back of the sign was, I'm planning on doing that. If you guys want to join me, I will definitely let you know. And it'll be, I'll get in touch with you guys through the community page over here on YouTube, on the YouTubes. So I'll let you know. There's 290 people in here right now, 196 likes. Can we get up to 200 likes? And also put a 1 in the room if you're interested in joining me in Jackson, Mississippi, on the steps of the Civil Rights Museum to basically protest against the treatment of Jeff Gray on Honor Your Oath Civil Rights Investigations. It'd be awesome if Jeff Gray could meet us out there, and a bunch of other heavy hitters in the First Amendment auditing community. But if you're interested in going up there, put a 1 in the room. I'd like to see how many people would be interested in actually making that trek. For me, it would be, what is it, like a 12-hour drive, 13-hour drive, something like that. And we ain't flying, because I'm not obeying the FAA's and the TSA's laws up there. Here, so let me strip you of your rights so that, just for your safety. We don't want you boarding the aircraft with any kind of terrorist. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining. If you haven't checked this video out right here, take a look at it. If you want to support the channel, the support links are in the description below. I definitely highly suggest you get a trifold. And a lot of people are like giving me heat about, I don't care what you think about chili. This right here is awesome. I don't care what you think about delete laws. This tool right here, I've got a link in the description. I'll have a link in the description. Get this trifold. I mean, you don't have to get this, what do they call it? Indestructible paper trifold. Just get the PDF so you can print out your own so you can have these. This thing is awesome. I invoke my right to remain silent. This thing is incredible. People trip over themselves because they don't like the personality called Chili DeCastro. They don't like delete laws, and they think he's a con man and all that kind of stuff. Whatever, man. This, I cannot wait for my first interaction where I pull this baby out. So grab one of those or grab, whatever. And not only that, Chili is willing to give them out to everybody for free if you want it. Do you have a gripe against Chili? Fine. I respect it. Whatever you want to do. But to me, it's like, it's all about the education. Doesn't matter to me. You know, if Hillary Clinton said the sky is blue, I wouldn't disagree with her because I don't like Hillary Clinton. I'd be like, yep, the sky is blue. Hillary Clinton says the grass is green. I'm not going to go, it is not green. Hillary Clinton is such a liar. It's like, it doesn't matter what I think about Hillary Clinton. The grass is green and the sky is blue. And if Hillary Clinton put out something like this, I'd be buying it. I'd be getting it. Or just make your own. But why would you have to? It's already made for you. Anywho, so I appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining. I will see you guys in the next live stream. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Thanks for the 256 likes. Thank you, Boone family, for the chat, the super chats, and I will see you guys